Hi, good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today? I can see some people have been in the chat already, which is great to see. Hi, Helen.
Hi.
Where's everybody dialing in from this morning? It's a big hello for me from Manchester. It felt quite spring-like yesterday, less so today, although I have got my t-shirt on. I think I'm possibly the only person in the country today wearing a t-shirt. Axminster. Where are you this morning, Helen? You're at home, I can see.
Yeah, I'm just outside of northwest London.
Morning, Sonia in Sheffield. I'm from Doncaster originally, so big up South Yorkshire. Fabulous. Okay, so just get the frog out of my throat. Morning, everybody. We're super pleased that you've joined us today. This is our sixth webinar in our 2023 series. Today we are going to talk about our fabulous operations business. So we want it to be a really interesting and, well, hopefully interesting and interactive session. So if there's questions that come up, please feel free to put them into the chat box. Myself and Helen and the panel that we've got today will try and sort of answer some as we go along. Some of the bigger questions we will save till later and then sort of bring out during the panel session at the end of the webinar. So my name's Liz Kingston and I am the attraction, selection and recruitment lead for apprenticeships in the UK. So essentially my role is to make sure that if you decide that you're interested in an application for an apprenticeship at Amazon, that you have a great experience, that we give you all of the information that you need to select the right programme, that we make the process as enjoyable and as informative as possible, and that we hand you off to your programme managers happy and ready and raring to go on the programme. I'm just going to hand you over to my co-host for this morning. So over to you, Helen.
Thanks, Liz. Yeah, so my name's Helen, and I look after apprenticeships across what we call our middle mile and last mile logistics. So that's the ways and means that your parcels move around the country and end up on your front doorsteps. And I look after the apprentices in that part of the business. So thanks again for joining this session on my behalf, and we're looking forward to seeing the opportunities that we could potentially support you to develop your skills in your career. It is a very interactive session. We really love that. So, please do, put some comments and questions into the chat box. And also, there's no such thing as a stupid question. So, feel free to ask away, and we'll try and get through as many as we can. And there's also that opportunity for the Q&A at the end as well. Thank you.
So, in terms of the panel of experts that we've got joining today, do you guys want to just put your cameras on and your microphones on, and we can probably do with some introductions if that's okay. I'll work sort of left to right, so you know the order. So, Luke, if you want to start, if that's okay.
Yeah, I can start. So my name's Luke. I'm currently a step-up driver trainer at Amazon. I have been throughout Peak as well. And I've been doing my supply chain apprenticeship since May last year. I originally joined the apprenticeship because I was a level 1 in operations, and I saw this as a great opportunity to find things that I didn't know about logistics in general, and also about Amazon. I wanted to find out the inner workings. So I saw this as an opportunity. I applied for it. Within a couple of months, I'd started the apprenticeship program. And so far, I've been able to learn things like standard operating procedures, and just generally processes that Amazon use. And it's a great way to just expand your knowledge if you want to progress within Amazon as well. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Luke. Over to you, John.
Hi there, everyone. I'm John. I am currently EDI for one of our Scottish fulfilment centres on the Chartered Manager Degree Apprenticeship programme. Alongside that, I'm also the area manager for one of our inbound processes. So this all came about after a whole career change during COVID, going from the cruise ship entertainment world to operations, and it was a huge step, and obviously this
Oh, wow.
gave that opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. I could talk
Last
for
but
hours
not-
on that, so I'm not going to bother that.
And last but not least, Adrian.
Hello everyone, my name is Adrian. I'm doing the Army Electronics Apprenticeship at LCY3, which is in London, and I joined straight after A-levels. I finished my A-levels, Maths, Physics, IT, and you want to go uni. After doing some research, a couple of apprenticeships here and there, stumbled across the Amazon apprenticeship and the research, and I figured out it was something I was interested in. And then I've been here now for the past year and a half now. Just came back from college a couple of months ago, and now we're basically full-time here.
Fantastic.
Still learning, and yeah,
Every day's day one.
that's it. Yeah, pretty much. Always learning.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we've got a brilliant panel, and I think some great questions hopefully will come through. So don't forget to put them in the chat box if you want to ask them straight away, and then we'll save a few for the panel at the end. Thanks, guys. If you want to give yourselves a break for a couple of minutes, and then we'll call you back on for the panel at the end, that would be amazing. I did forget to say as well, we have got some closed captioning if anybody needs it. So if you have a look in the top right hand corner, there's a little yellow box which says click here to follow live captions. So if anybody does need closed captioning, please tap on that link and it will all be there for you as well. Okay, so moving on to today's agenda. So we've got lots of hopefully exciting things to go through. We'll talk to you a little bit about Amazon. And why choose an apprenticeship with us. We'll also talk about our leadership principles and what they mean to us. Helen is going to cover the 9 schemes that we've got on offer for 2023 in ops. And then I'm going to talk about a little bit in terms of how we hire into the programmes, and then we'll move on to the Q&A with the apprentices and with John as the hiring manager as well. Okay, so a little bit of an interactive part here. Get your things at the ready. So I'm interested to know about what you think about when you think about Amazon. If you can dwell on the question for a second and put your answers into the chat, then that would be amazing. We've had some really interesting insights from the audiences so far. So let's see what you guys think when you think about Amazon as a business. Parcels, Anoop, yes. We'll be covering a bit of that today. Busy, Khadija, yeah. Sam, huge opportunities. Speed service, global business, absolutely. Thomas, I get parcels on my front doorstep. Yeah, I'm always happy to see them with a smile on them.
Oh, customer centric. That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's actually one of our leadership principles is customer obsession. So
Yeah. Pavinda, delivering smiles. Oh, I love that. That's great, isn't it, Helen?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's good. Yeah, Kindle. I also love. I'm a big Audible fan, actually. I must admit. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. Thank you. So I think for me, when I was sort of thinking about joining Amazon, you sort of almost have the sort of front end side, which we're going to talk a lot about today, actually, in terms of, I think, the parcels. In Manchester, there's loads of prime vans, which always make me smile, being part of Amazon myself. And then obviously these huge landmark buildings, which I always just have what on earth goes on in there, because they're absolutely humongous. So we'll give you a bit of an insight into that today as well. And then just sort of how on earth do you keep going with the millions of parcels that go through your business on a sort of daily basis, and you know, how do you run Prime, and how do you get everything there on time? And then I also started thinking about all of the different Amazon businesses that I was sort of using as a consumer, and it really sort of led me into sort of thinking about how broad Amazon was as a business. And when you sort of move on to think about how much Amazon has grown, what became really evident to me when I was doing my homework into Amazon was how the operations business was essentially the foundation of Amazon when Jeff Bezos set up a bookstore in his garage to sell books online. And I think for me, before I moved into this role, I actually worked in the logistics side in AMZL. And what became really evident to me was the energy and the passion and the enthusiasm and the pace that goes on in operations today really sort of gave the gateway into all of the other businesses that the Amazon sort of organisation has become. And I think that's really important to realise. If you want to work in a fast-paced, high-energy, energetic, fun environment, then operations is an absolutely brilliant place for you to look to do your apprenticeship. Career Map, can we just play the video, if that's okay, please? Fantastic, thank you. So we just want to go back into the deck, if that's okay. Great.
Oh yeah, I must say about that video, I really like how it kind of accurately portrays all of our different operations sites, and those are essentially the people that are moving parcels, picking and packing all of the bits and bobs that you're ordering and moving them around the country, essentially getting them to your front doors. But it really shows you the sort of like the fun environment, the fast sort of pace, the dynamic sort of work environment that we have in operations, and that's a really sort of accurate reflection of what it's like to work in operations.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think when you have a look at some of the figures, and we were sort of talking about these just before the webinar yesterday, we've got over 100 locations now in the UK and Ireland. We've got 800,000 square feet of size from fulfilment centres, and we employ more than 1,500 full-time associates. I mentioned before about the vans. Keep your eye out, you're going to start seeing a lot of electric vans, which is brilliant for us. We've invested £300 million in the UK to expand our fleet of electric vehicles. And we were ranked number one. Amazon Logistics was ranked number one in terms of satisfied customers out of all of the courier delivery companies in 2022. So I think a few people called out that in the what they thought about when they thought about Amazon. So that's really, really great to hear.
Yeah, and it's I would just add to that it's really technology that helps us get there. So we're all about innovation. We're all about using technology to essentially, you know, delight our customers, and that's really how we achieve it.
Yeah. Right, Helen, over to you to talk about what's an apprenticeship.
Great, thanks. So you've had a little insight about the sort of working environment in Amazon now. So I wanted to tell you a bit more about what you actually joined for, which was to know about our apprenticeships. Before I get into that, it's really important that you have a broad understanding of exactly what an apprenticeship is, because it's important that you understand all about apprenticeships. So essentially, what we say a lot about apprenticeships being learning and earning opportunities. So you're working in your sort of, you know, in a position where you're going towards like a target role. So, you know, whether that is in management or if that is a supply chain operative, or whether it's in IT. So you're working for 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time you're studying or you're doing work towards your apprenticeship that results in a nationally recognised qualification. All of your training is delivered by a professional training provider, which are all Ofsted registered. And we support you in order to be able to kind of get the best possible results. And at the end of your apprenticeship, not only do you get these qualifications, but you've got skills and you've got that work-based experience. You've got a really good kind of complete package to go on and, you know, enhance and develop your careers even further. And for those of you who might be just kind of finishing A-levels, is a really great alternative to university if you're really keen to put your skills into kind of a practical use, but you also still want to, you know, increase the qualifications that you're getting. Apprenticeships are a really great alternative, and we do have quite a large number of degree apprenticeships in Amazon, which might be an opportunity for you, but we've got lots of other options as well. So it's all about that learning and earning, increasing your skills base, and really kind of choosing a subject area that you feel quite passionate about as well. I think that's really important. And at Amazon, we have various different levels of apprenticeship. We go all the way from intermediate, which is level 2, sort of GCSE level, all the way up to degree, and kind of a few things in between there as well. So lots of different opportunities and levels there. I think that Amazon is the perfect place to do an apprenticeship and really exploit, you know, and learn some new skills. And one of the best things about it is that we've got a really great diverse workforce, people with different backgrounds and qualifications and career aspirations. And we've got a wealth of opportunities. In Amazon in the UK, we've got over 40 different apprenticeship programs, which is really wide, and that's a reflection of how big how big our business is, and that goes to the slide that Liz showed earlier. But the ones that I'm really going to focus on today are our apprenticeships in operations, in engineering, technology, and as I said, that's a real key enabler for us, and also in business as well. And so, you know, keep your eyes and ears open, because there might be some opportunities that you've never really sort of considered before. So we are really delighted now to be celebrating 10 years of doing apprenticeships in Amazon. So we're not new to this. We've been doing this for a while now, though you may think that, you know, maybe it's only a few years because Amazon is quite a young business. Actually, we've been upskilling people into the UK workforce for the last 10 years. It actually started with 3 engineering apprentices, sort of way back in 2013, and now we've got 2,683 apprentices who sort of either in learning or completed their learning with us. So we've really sort of scaled and grown our apprenticeship opportunities. We're now a key sponsor for National Apprenticeship Week, which starts on the 6th of February, which we're really proud of. We're doing a series of events all the way through January, of which one of these is part of that sort of webinar series. We've got a range of in-person events up and down the country between the 6th and the 10th of February, and of which there'll be a schedule for both on our Eventbrite page. We're also sort of we're doing key things with things like the National Apprenticeship Awards now as well. So we're a top 100 UK apprenticeship employer, but we're striving to be as best as we possibly can be, and that's sort of part of the day one culture that's really intuitive about Amazonians. So I've mentioned before about the way that we like to innovate, and one of our leadership principles is learn and be curious, but it's also strive to be Earth's best employer. So this really makes apprenticeships and the whole theory of apprentices, upskilling, really providing pathways and development opportunities for our people. This really means that apprenticeships are part of our DNA, which is really great for us and great for me as on the apprenticeship team. What we've noticed is our apprentices are great at innovating, creating, and asking those questions that maybe nobody's ever thought of. And the really good thing about Amazon is that you do get listened to when you do have those sort of ideas. And so probably the thing that struck me most when I joined Amazon is when you do have an idea, not only do people listen to you, but then they kind of give you the power to go and try it and see if it works or not. And I really love that. And if you've got that kind of mindset, it's a really good option. And from our perspective, there's no sort of limit to our creativity and growth and potential to improve. And we say every day is day one, and that's what we want our employees to really foster. That sort of, there's always something more to learn or to improve or, to try. And we don't like to kind of rest on our laurels at all. And apprentices and sort of apprenticeship program really enables us to be able to do that. And so we really would like you to think about coming and helping us build the future.
Thanks, Helen. Sorry, I'm just trying to respond to a question in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to talk about our leadership principles and sort of why they're important to us. So to enable Amazon to continue to grow at the pace it does, there's two things that are really important to us, culture and innovation. And that sort of builds on what Helen was just saying about, very much an ideas and innovative, give myself a point for saying that, culture. So the sort of foundation to all of that are the leadership principles, and what these do is they guide us in terms of how we hire people into the business, but they also are part of how we evaluate success. So we hold ourselves accountable and each other accountable for demonstrating the leadership principles throughout the actions every day, we have a really great accolade program where you can go on and you can sort of, really highlight brilliant things that your colleagues have done online to their manager and to their colleagues for when they sort of, support you and demonstrate the leadership principles. So they describe how we do business at Amazon, how our leaders lead us, and then how we keep the customer at the centre of everything that we do. And it really they really sort of help us pursue our mission of being Earth's most customer-centric company, the best employer, and the safest place to work. And being a safe place to work is obviously hugely important from an operations perspective as well. So we've got 16 leadership principles, and I would encourage everybody on the call to have a look at them in depth. There are full sort of overviews as to what each of these mean on the Amazon UK website. And I think if you are looking at joining us as an apprentice, have a think about which leadership principles resonate with you. I know the ones that sort of really resonated with me, well, all of them did actually, but the ones that resonated with me most were customer obsession. So that's starting with the customer and working backwards. And I think in all of our roles, we each have sort of different primary customers, if that makes sense. So from an apprenticeship perspective, you're all my customers. So part of my role is really understanding how we can create a recruitment journey that makes you feel like you're able to showcase your successes, for example. So ownership is a big part of that as well, in terms of taking a long-term view and never turning around and saying that's not my job. A lot of it is around how you can drive outcomes and how you can create success in the role that you do. So that's really important. I think Helen mentioned the learn and be curious. I think that's sort of the foundation of apprenticeships and really the foundation of Amazon full stop, in terms of never standing still, pushing forward, and with curiosity comes the desire to bring new perspectives, and that's really important to us as well. And earn trust was one that really resonated with me, in terms of being open and being respectful, and making sure that we build a collaborative approach. So one of the things that Jeff Bezos, as our sort of founder, instills in all of us is sort of starting with the customer and working backwards. And I think that's really unique about Amazon. We don't think about what we want as a business. We think about what our customers want and need, and then we build solutions to actually deliver that. And a great example of that is Prime. I think there was nobody turning around and going, I'd really like Prime. I'm not altogether sure how my life would work without Prime these days. So that's a great example of putting a customer at the centre of our thinking and then working backwards to deliver something new and innovative. It's also really important to recognise that we celebrate you being you. We're a diverse business, we're a global business, and we recognise that no two Amazonians are the same. We have 13 global affinity groups, and we're excited to say it hopefully should be 14 soon, because we'd like to start one for our apprentices. And what they really do is bring people together, bound by similarities, and we've got numerous networks that you can either be an active member in, or more of a passive member, and just really enjoy being part of the community as well. So I'm hoping that will really give you an idea as to our principles and how we recruit and how we celebrate individuality and individual success. Okay, over to you, Helen, to talk through the programs for operations.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Liz. I've largely put our apprenticeship opportunities and operation in sort of big buckets. And I don't want to go into too much detail, because you can find loads of information on our website, which is www.amazonapprenticeships.co.uk. But I'll tell you in sort of big buckets the types of apprenticeships that we've got on offer. Firstly, in engineering. So this is anyone with a real passion for some hands-on engineering that essentially helps move all of our parcels all around our warehouses every day, and that includes the robotics that we use to move our parcels around, from and everything kind of else in between. And if anyone has been, I know there's a few people on this chat that work in fulfillment centres, but if anyone's ever sort of seen a video or anything, it's absolutely mesmerising. So we obviously need teams of highly skilled engineers to work at our sites to enable this to happen, and again to innovate, to improve what we're doing. So we've got two different types of apprenticeships that support that. There's automation, and then there's mechatronics. Both of them are like almost 4-year courses. One's at level 6, which is that degree level, and the other is at level 3, which is sort of A level. I would just note, for all of our engineering programs, that the first year of the program is based at a college. So Amazon essentially puts you up in like sort of college/university accommodation for that first year, and pays for your accommodation. So you can't really do that from home, and you won't be able to sort of commute that from home unless you live sort of down the road from where the college is. So just so you're aware. And then for years sort of 2, 3, 4, you go back to your site, and you work there with the team of engineers once you've got that sort of foundation in engineering. The college facilities, I would say, are fantastic. So you're going to get a really top class education. And then the other thing to note about the engineering apprenticeships, and we say this before, we say it a bit flippantly, but you end up as so highly skilled that you're never really going to struggle to find work again, I would say. These are really sort of valuable apprenticeship opportunities. So that's engineering. We've got a couple of different options in safety as well. We've got safety specialists and safety technicians. So if you're kind of interested in workplace health and safety, that's a really good option. And then in warehouse operations itself, again, we've got quite a few different options. We've got our supply chain operatives with business improvement techniques. So essentially, you'd be working as an associate, like one of our panel members did for 80% of the time, and then for the other 20% of the time, you're really kind of becoming like a professional warehouse operative, but you're getting some really good foundation skills in things like health and safety, teamwork and communication, and like effective ways of working as well. So that's a really great sort of foundation apprenticeship that you can build on thereafter. We're also recruiting for chartered management degree apprentices, and essentially that's a 3-year degree level apprenticeship, and it's either with Exeter University or the Manchester Metropolitan University. And so for 20% of the time you're studying with them, 80% of the time you're working essentially as like a supervisor in one of our warehouses. So again, you'd be responsible for a group of people there, and it's all about making sure the process flow is correct. You'd be like communicating and exercising leadership and innovating as well. So that's really good if you're super keen to, progress. We're looking for people with lots of potential to apply for that one. But essentially, you get a degree in business management with the chartered management degree apprenticeship. And then we're also recruiting for some HR apprentices as well, for those who are keen to get into HR. In terms of technology, we're recruiting for IT engineers, and I've kind of mentioned it before that we are a tech company, so IT is hugely important to make the cogs of the machine work. So we've got these large IT teams. We're not within our fulfilment centres, so that's a really great option if you're keen to pursue a career in IT. And then finally, we've got a couple of opportunities which are not necessarily, they may be based in delivery stations or fulfilment centres, but they might be in corporate offices as well. We're also looking for some project management degrees, so people to do a degree in project management, and also data management degrees as well. And that's, for people who've got that real sort of passion for, manipulating data and making it very kind of customer friendly, so people can make really good data-informed decisions that help to drive the company forward. So lots of opportunities there. And as I said before, amazonapprenticeships.co.uk for the full blurb on every single one of those apprenticeships you will be able to get. But that's the sort of brief intro. Here is some more information about the programs that I've described already. And as you can see, that there's a column there for prerequisites, and so that's essentially your eligibility criteria sort of academically, and you'll notice that each apprenticeship is different, and the reason for that is that each apprenticeship is like a different level, but we're also looking for sort of different minimum entry skills to make sure that you are successful. And there's also a column there that tells you about the sort of qualifications that you gain and the locations of the different opportunities that we've got as well. I should just mention that there are some additional eligibility criteria as well across all of our apprenticeships that it's really important that you're aware of. The first of which is that you've lived in the EEA, that's the European Economic Area, or the UK, for the last 3 years. If that isn't the case, then I'm afraid you won't be eligible for an apprenticeship. If you are a Ukrainian refugee, you are also eligible. Another few little things, you can't be involved in any other sort of government funded course at the time that you do your apprenticeship. again, if you were, that would be pulled up straight away by the government, and I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to continue on the apprenticeship with us. And the third other bit of eligibility criteria is the whole sort of point of apprenticeships is you've got to be learning new skills. So if you've already got, if you're thinking about doing the safety apprenticeship, for example, you've already got a safety degree, like that makes you not eligible because you wouldn't be able to evidence any new learning. So if you've got a qualification at the same or a higher level in that subject area or very closely aligned to that, that would make you not eligible. So you need to be evidencing new learning. Okay, and I would just say that that's not an Amazon rule, but that this is a government rule, and we obviously have to adhere to those. I'll move on to the next page. It goes into a bit more detail about some of the other programs that I mentioned earlier. Again, full details are on our website. Okay. I'm gonna not dwell on this too long. I'm sure people can give it a quick skim and then go straight onto our website for more information. I'll just go straight to the next slide. Liz.
Thanks, Helen. So, just in terms of what we're looking for, Helen has obviously just covered some of the eligibility criteria, which is brilliant. In terms of how we're going to recruit, what we recognise is that there is such a broad diversity of apprentices, and I think Adrian made the point earlier, he was straight out of secondary education. John had had a whole career before joining Amazon, and we see apprentices sitting very much in those areas as well. So your CV will look very different if you have just left education to maybe working in a different sector for the last 20 or 30 years. Both individuals will, I'm sure, be brilliant apprentices. So what we want to do is give everybody an equal opportunity to demonstrate aptitude, attitude and ambition. And this is what we see to be brilliant sort of sets of evidence to make you successful at Amazon. So in terms of aptitude, it's really sort of understanding an academic baseline relevant to the scheme that you're applying for. With the best will in the world, if you want to have a career in finance and you don't enjoy working with numbers and you haven't done very well in your maths GCSE, it's probably not the right programme for you. So just have a think about where your academic strengths and where your sort of interests and the way that your brain works and what you enjoy doing, how that translates into the right programme for you. And if there are programme specific interests that you want to evidence, then make sure that you include those as well. So for some of our software development programmes, if you are a bedroom coder or if you've been on a couple of coding courses on a Saturday morning in your local library, make sure that you put that on your CV. Attitude, I think, is really, really key to be successful as an apprentice. And it's one of the things that sort of flows back to the leadership principles, really. Part of what Helen talked about as well, and we sort of shared earlier, was the length of some of these schemes as well. You've got to have a desire to succeed. You've got to want to continue your learning, and you've really got to commit to the length of the programme. You're not going to get a degree if you don't complete your apprenticeship, and you're not going to get your qualifications if you don't complete. So it's really important not to see this as a shortcut, or not to sort of say, I'll give it a go and sort of see how it feels. You know, we are going to really heavily invest in you. We're going to give you the skill, but it's really important to demonstrate the will there as well. And again, coming back to the leadership principles of just owning your own development. If you don't know, ask. Program managers are there to support and align. Your manager will be there to support and align. We really want you to succeed, but the person that owns that success ultimately is you. And we want you to be curious. Helen mentioned before about the ideas. You know, we're a business that runs on new ideas, and our apprenticeship awards that we held recently, and you'll be able to see that on the new website, really sort of showcase some of the amazing ideas that our apprentices have come up with, suggested, put into action, and they have literally saved us millions of pounds and directly contributed to our customers being happy and they've really sort of shown that customer obsession. So that is key as well. Ambition. You can use an apprenticeship to gain new skills. You can then go off and do a different apprenticeship to build on those skills. So if you do an apprenticeship in HR, doesn't mean that you have to have a career in HR. You may decide that you want to take that sort of apprenticeship in HR and then do an apprenticeship in recruitment to have a broader sort of portfolio of skills. So it's really important, I think, to make sure that the programme that you choose is right for you. Make sure that it sits alongside your sort of career plan, and there is that sort of question of, well, I know what I'm good at, but I don't really know what I want to do. So there's a careers quiz on the new website. It's really quick to do. It will ask you seemingly loads of unrelated questions, and then it will give you some suggestions as to career options that you may be interested in. So that's worth checking out as well. And I mentioned before, just have a look at the leadership principles and sort of make sure that they resonate with you. If you're looking at them and thinking, well, I don't really understand or agree, or none of them are sort of shouting out, yes, that's me, we're probably not the right organisation for you. They do flow through everything that we do. So it's just really important that those leadership principles resonate with you as well. Okay. So on to the application process. I mentioned before, we want to give you an opportunity to succeed. We want to be able to let you showcase what you're good at, and talk to us about, why being an Amazonian necessarily excites you. Talk about why being an apprentice is something that you feel you're going to shine at, and then sort of take you through a relatively in-depth process, but one that sort of pulls out and draws on different experiences that you will have had. So all of our programmes open on the 6th of Feb, so please put that in your diary, and share your CV, answer some initial questions and complete a short assessment. It should take you about 30 minutes. Again, your CV will look very different dependent upon where you probably are in your career. So if it's particularly short, have a think about some things on there that are hobbies and interests or things that are relevant to the programme that you're applying for. Helen mentioned some of the in-person events that we're running throughout National Apprenticeship Week, which also starts on the 6th of Feb. So if you want to come along, we've got 2 sessions on Monday in Mansfield at RFC there. We've got 2 sessions in London at our head office. Wednesday is Swindon, Thursday is Gateshead, and Friday is Bolton. I would say for anybody on this webinar today, coming along and meeting us and seeing the FCs in action is absolutely brilliant. It will give you a huge insight into our operations business and really sort of set you up for success. So if you can come along, please do. You'll then move forward into an online evaluation. It will be, Sam, booked in Gateshead. Yay! I might see you there. It'll be an online evaluation. You will be given a number of goes to complete it, so don't feel pressured to sort of press go too early. And we're going to ask you to tell us about your motivations, why you think you're right for Amazon, why this programme interests you, and what leadership principles resonate with you and why. For some of the technical schemes, there might be a short coding test. I think for the engineering ones, there may be a small test as well. It's not necessarily a pass or fail because, again, if you show the will, we will teach you the skills. It's just to work out where you might be. It was sort of outlined to me recently from a coding perspective. You can either be brand new to it or a bedroom coder, so somebody that's a bit of a hobbyist or somebody that's maybe had a bit more training. So it's just made, sort of to see where you are on that scale. And again, quite short, 15 minutes for the video interview and 25 minutes for the technical scheme, so nothing too onerous. Babatunde, if you go onto the website, there are Eventbrite invitations for all of the in-person events as well, so just check that out on the amazonapprenticeships.co.uk. In terms of the virtual assessments, we're doing them all online this year, mainly to make sure that people aren't penalised by the cost of getting to sort of central locations. traveling to Manchester, to London from Manchester is so prohibitively expensive, and we want to make sure that everybody can see us. So it will be an assessment centre, group exercise, presentation on something that you feel passionate about, and then individual interviews. So you'll get to meet some of the managers that you would be working with if you were successful in your application. So by this point, we're sort of hoping that you're not thinking, should I join Amazon? You're thinking, how do I apply? Helen's mentioned, from an operations perspective, we've got brilliant apprenticeships across the UK. We have a new website which has got loads of information on there about the different programmes, so please check it out, or you can follow the QR code here. I've mentioned when the opportunities open, it's really important to get your application in early. We will be looking at them as they come through and then evaluating on that basis, so don't leave it too late. And then we also have a specialist team called Amazon's ACAT team. If you need reasonable adjustments, or if you need specialist support to move your application forward, you can find their number directly on the website, and they will be there to offer one-on-one support for your application. In terms of additional questions, we also have a mailbox, so apprenticeships@amazon.com, where the recruitment team are to answer anything specific that you may have. Yeah, we hope today has answered quite a lot of the questions as well. So if I can ask our panel to come back on screen. Fantastic. Adrian, you look like you've got a halo with where that light is. It's literally like fantastic. Okay, we've had some really good questions that have come through. So this could probably go to anybody on the panel, actually. I'll do fastest finger first, so whoever wants to answer, put your hand up. Okay. What do you enjoy most about working in operations? Go on then, John.
It's that, for me, from the Chartered Manager apprenticeship program, it's that chance of marrying up everything that you're learning on a practical basis. So everything, I find, is much easier to learn the theory by actually doing as well. So there's that sense of connectivity, and then I don't know, I feel accomplished when you finish a project and you're just like, yes, okay, I managed. It's much more of a complete package. Yeah. To
put the theory into practice and
yeah,
no, absolutely.
I think that's a really good point, because some people feel that, particularly after doing, however many years at school or at college, actually you want to see some practical output of well as studying. So that's where apprenticeships are really great, because you do get that sort of practical output. And at Amazon, you get that every day, which is really great. You can always come away from a day of work and be like, I've achieved something today, even, if it hasn't gone according to plan. That's a real benefit of apprenticeships, I'd say.
Yeah. I think that sort of touches on what Adrian said in his introduction, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something a bit different with, to see results, just learning in a different way, slightly more practical.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. We've got some questions coming through. So there's a question here for Luke. What are your next steps in moving forward after the BIT apprenticeship? Are you going to do another? I'm in the same situation. Thank you, Darren.
Possibly. I still need to have a look at what's available. So I'm going to be doing the same thing as what you guys are doing and looking at on the website and stuff. So that's due to finish in around May time, I think. So I'm definitely open to looking at another apprenticeship program. I have yet to look in depth of what's out there because I've been so busy with this one. But definitely later on during the line, I'll be looking into probably another one. Just simply because of the stuff that I've learned through this one and the opportunities it's given me at work as well, with various step ups and whatnot. So it's something that I'm definitely looking into. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just to add to that. Sorry, I feel like I'm adding to everybody. I think Luke is in quite a good situation now because. Am I right in saying you've been now promoted, Luke? Right, like during the course of the apprenticeship.
I've done about 3 or 4 step ups. Yeah.
Amazing. So the great thing about when you get promoted in Amazon, particularly in operations, is that it kind of opens up a whole other host of apprenticeships that you can do. So
Yeah.
you can start doing a supply chain operative apprenticeship like Luke did, and then hopefully then when you get to level 3, you can then look at doing something like a team leader apprenticeship, which is a level 3 apprenticeship. You can go all the way to doing a chartered management degree, which is the level 6 apprenticeship. So that you can literally, there's a ladder, the progression ladder of apprenticeship that you can follow as you kind of get more senior, which is really cool.
So I'm not sure if somebody's busily typing away or if I can just hear a little bit of crackling, possibly a little bit of both.
That was me.
That was you. I've got a really great question from Thomas, which is to you actually, John. So the move from cruise ship entertainment, oh God, it's moving down as I'm trying to read it. The move from cruise ship entertainment to area manager is a fantastic and seemingly big difference. I'm looking to move from kitchen management into the chartered management degree. What advice do you have in applying for such a career change? Did you bring your skills with you or build new?
Turn my microphone back on there. That was no, that's a really good question. So what I found was in the run up to the application and through the assessment centre and things like that, I took a bit of time to look back on the skills and knowledge and experience I had before and what was actually transferable. For me anyway, there was actually quite a lot because I did a lot of people management whilst on the ships regarding and we sort of were everyone's HR, duty of care, all that sort of stuff. And then coming to the apprenticeship program, you learn everything that you need to do in the role, you learn within the course. And then everything that you bring to the table is obviously that over and above. And sorry, I'm absolutely waffling. Let me just check back in with the question. But yeah,
so it's a bit of a combination then, really, isn't it?
Yeah, really,
yeah.
Yeah. It marries up, and then you can use that to work on your projects and your assignments, etc.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. I've got a question, Helen, for you from Khadija. How long does an apprenticeship last?
It really varies on the type of apprenticeship, and again, all of the details are on our website, amazonapprenticeships.co.uk. They can go from 15 months all the way to 46 months.
It's like quick fire, Helen. This is a really good question. So a question from Benji is, how do we ensure that our programmes are up to date with industry trends and developments? That's a good question.
Well, so, I mean, that's an interesting question. Basically, again, this is sort of government controlled. Apprenticeships only exist if a number of businesses get together and say these are skills that we need for the development and growth of our businesses. And if businesses say, actually, we don't need this anymore, then apprenticeships can get kind of dropped essentially from the sort of register. So that's the kind of national control. But in terms of our own apprenticeships, well, we know the direction that our business is going. So we're really investing in skills that are going to help us to get there. So that's how we do it from an Amazon perspective.
Fantastic. Thank you. So this is probably a question that applies to Luke, John and Adrian. So is the apprenticeship what you thought it would be?
I think, should we ask Adrian on this one? Because I think that's a good one to answer as an engineer.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll be honest, not really. I think I had an initial thought when I was applying. Once I got the apprenticeship, the first year was definitely not what I expected in a good way. Being away for a whole year, basically doing a whole course in a year, really, I guess, pushed me to the next level, because I didn't do engineering level 3 or level 2 in college. So it really did open my eyes. Coming back, same thing. I'm happy. Everything's good. But I also thought that I was going to get to, let's just say, expand in other ways. I'm still learning every day. I'm still, especially with engineers here, I'm still being able to work on machines and whatnot that I didn't expect to. But I'm still waiting for further development, in the sense that, I've still got 2-3 years left.
Yeah.
So I'm still expecting to see what happens.
And I guess the level of expertise that you learn from on the job is unbelievable.
Yeah, so like I said, when I first came back, I knew I did a course back in college, but even coming back, I wasn't sure of what I was, expecting. And yeah, to this day, I'm still working on different things every day, every night, different work orders and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm not complaining, to be fair. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoying it.
Good. John and Luke, do you have any, is it what you thought it would be?
To be fair, yeah, I went in with open minds, complete open mind, especially regarding the career change. I'm just replying to a couple of career change questions on the other bit as well. Like just going in with the open mind about the whole program, and obviously through the CMDA program, it's so expansive. We're working obviously with an operational standpoint, but you get the opportunity to jump into different projects around the site. For example, I'm one of the Glamazon regional leads, so you get an element of DEI, you get the operations, HR, safety, all that side of things. Obviously, to a different degree, different levels depending on what course you're in. But yeah, it's not what I expected, but it's more than what I expected. Sorry to be corny and cheesy on that line.
No, that's a great quote. I'm going to write that down and put it on the website. That's brilliant. That's really, really good. That's great. Luke, any addition from you, or I can move on to probably our final question, actually. And I've got a final question for everybody on today's panel. Do you want me to move on?
Mine's pretty much the same. I went into it with an open mind, and I'm learning more than I expected to learn, to be honest. With a level 2 apprenticeship, because I had done level 2 apprenticeships in college, and another one in a previous job, which wasn't maybe as expansive as this one.
Yeah.
So I am quite surprised at how much I have learned about the processes and stuff like that within Amazon. Just by doing this apprenticeship.
Fantastic, thank you. So the last question for everybody on the panel is, what makes somebody succeed at Amazon? Go on, Adrian.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things, but definitely something I picked up really quickly was, especially when I came back, was initiative and kind of taking matters into your own hands, in the sense that you can't expect people to come to you with opportunities, work, like learning opportunities. Being back, just, you come in and you just can't see around. If you want to learn something, if you want to go with an engineer or work on this piece of machinery or equipment, you gotta get up, ask your senior, ask them, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I train on this? So I think, really initiative and self-drive, I guess.
That ownership and that learn and be curious, really, isn't it? Yeah.
And even relating back to college, we still got work from college, even being back here. So if you don't, no one's behind you and saying, do your work, get on your work. You got a week, you got 2 weeks. It's up to you to, by the end of the year, have everything completed, handed in, marked, and otherwise, say about the apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. John, what makes someone succeed at Amazon?
I actually agree with the learn and be curious leadership principle.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest ones. Saying yes to every opportunity was my biggest advice that I got given, and I would give to anybody who is coming on board with whatever course, whatever program you're on. As I said, you don't know what's out there, and you don't know what the journey can take. You could be on one program, and then the steps during it could lead you to who knows what sort of opportunities afterwards.
Yeah.
That's learn and be curious.
Fab. Luke, final thoughts from you?
I'm going to say definitely ownership is one way to succeed. I was actually discussing this with some people that I work with the other day, and definitely going into an existing structure or process and just being able to analyze it and try and do it in a more efficient way. Amazon is constantly looking to improve on its own techniques. So just being able to do that is good because your managers will most likely listen to you and try it out. And they don't, in my experience, they don't try and take the praise for themselves. They always say, such a person has come up with an idea, we're going to try it. And when it does work, then, you know, the praise gets shared rather than all going to the managers.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we are slightly over time, but not for want of waiting on brilliant questions. And thank you hugely for the level of engagement from the audience. I think a big thank you to the panel for taking some time out today. And we hope that you found it interesting. Please check out the rest of our webinar series. And if you want to join us at one of our events in National Apprenticeship Week, we hope to see you there. And we hope that we have inspired some applications from you today. So looking forward to hopefully speaking to you all again. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.